Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where my voice I must apologize for. I'm still working on recovering from my illness, and it's not doing the best today. Unfortunately, the show must go on. I can't wait any longer, so we're going to have to get some RogueTech going here. Now, we should be pretty much good to go on this deployment, I believe.
Orders.
Is that accurate?
Yep.
Yes. Okay, so we need to deploy here. And looks like we want to make some money. So, what would we want to go for? This is an urban battle against Word of Blake. That's probably not the best thing in the world. Urban battle against Word of Blake. This is an urban battle against Steiner. This might not be the worst idea here. The salvage isn't great. We have a free priority salvage here. We can make 2 million C-bills from this. I think it's not a terrible concept. Of course, we're not going to deploy just the Centaur. We're going to want to load in our standard setup here, but our standard setup has changed somewhat. We're not going to have the Trebuchet here, that's for sure. We're going to be bringing the Rifleman. Gorgon is not here either, so we're also going to ditch the Wraith and bring the Grasshopper. Who are we going to bring in the Rifleman here? I believe it's going to end up being Coach in the Rifleman. Yeah, that's who it'll end up being. So it'll be something along the lines of this. We can just go ahead and deploy this. Darius thinks it'll be hard. He may or may not be right. We'll find out. See you guys after the loading screen. Okay, so here we are all loaded up. Let's hop on in. Let's see what we've got here. Should be interesting.
Command interface initiated.
Okay, what do we got? So, just destroy enemy units up over here. There may or may not be additional enemy units. Okay, so where do we want to spawn here? I kind of want to spawn out over this direction. Somewhere around here should be reasonably good. I don't love this position. Let's try this one more time. I don't love this. There, more like that. That should do. Okay, so we're just going to head up the road here and see what we can see. Hopefully, it'll be absolutely fine. What is this unit? Oh, okay, there's a Comstar, a Comstar assisting lance. That's fine. Well, we don't really know what's going on up over here yet. We know this is where the enemy units are, but we don't know what's going on there as of yet. Let's sprint on up with our Centaur and update our sensors. There are Steiner reinforcements. So we see a Hunchback, another Hunchback, a third Hunchback, and a Griffin. Now, where are those reinforcements at? Out over here? A Nidhogg. Okay, a Trebuchet, an Alicorn, and a Thunderbolt. Noted. So, for now, that's fine. This being in an urban environment is going to be kind of awkward. We'll see how that ends up going, and how useful Comstar ends up being. If Comstar ends up distracting these guys a fair amount, that would be phenomenal. We'd be very happy about that. Okay, Comstar also has a Hunchback. Noted. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how we manage to get LOSs. That's what I'm mostly concerned about with these urban environments, is getting LOS. So let's just sprint on up over here with our Apollo for now. And let's see what else is going to get moved here. So the Nidhogg position's about there. That we should have some LOS on. So that's good. Our Shadowhawk is going to head on up this direction.
Double time.
But I am a little concerned about that Nidhogg. No doubt about that. Hopefully Comstar can eliminate it. That would be ideal. But we'll see what they end up doing. For now, these Hunchbacks are just kind of running about over here. Okay. So, Right, we'd have to go down here if we wanted to engage the Hunchback, but we could just sit up over here. That should be
Listen,
absolutely
sir.
fine. Our Grasshopper is going to head this direction for now, continuing to engage out this way. Now, this is going to be a little bit slow because there's 8 enemy units and there's 6 allied units, so it's going to take a little bit to get through these turns. No doubt about it. Our crossbow can position up over here for now. Although the crossbow is going to want to fight this Nidhogg, but I'm thinking that that might be a not next round, but round after sort of thing. For now, we'll position our hoplite here and brace so that we don't get knocked down. That avatar is moving up. That's okay.
I'm ready.
Next would be our Black Knight. I think our Black Knight going down here isn't a terrible idea. It can engage this Hunchback at that point. This is a Thumper Artillery Hunchback, by the way.
Skipper.
And our Rifleman would like to position somewhere out over here.
Roger, Skipper.
Okay.
Taking it.
So now we should be going into spawn protection being removed. I think. Yes, spawn protection has indeed been removed.
How can I help?
So our Centaur is going to want to find a way in over here, right? And the question is, how do we get there? Okay, our Centaur is actually going to have to go around this direction. That's very awkward. Our other mechs are fine with being up here, but our Centaur does want to come around this way. We'll see what our allies end up doing. They're shooting at this Alicorn, and I think they got absolutely nothing done there. Okay. What else do we have going on here? So here in phase 21, there's potentially a large number of enemies that move. We have absolutely no idea what we've got going on. Okay, so they end up jumping and attacking our Black Knight. That's not all that relevant, but it does mean that we have a pretty decent target there. Okay, we can definitely work with that. Next is going to be this Hunchback. I am definitely concerned about this Nidhogg. There's no doubt about that. So the Hunchback moves up a little bit and fires on our friend the Conga. I'm not too concerned about that one, though. Okay, now they've got 2 phase 20 movers. One of these is probably that Nidhogg. The other appears to be this Thunderbolt. Yeah, that is indeed correct. This is indeed the Nidhogg. So that's fine for now. These Steiner reinforcements are going to be a little bit complicated to get to. No doubt about that. As we push forward over here, we're not really going to have a good way to get down. So that's noted. That Nidhogg is hitting our friend the Archer. Not really getting that much done there, though, to be honest. And that's a direct fire, LOS. So in theory, these guys should be able to really start tearing into him. Yeah, this is what I want to see. Unfortunately, the AMS was quite effective there. But just triggering that AMS is a pretty big deal for us. So we're okay with that. What else do we have going on here? Somebody running around up over this way? Okay. That's probably that Trebuchet attacking this Archer. For the moment, that's fine, but things are going to be very difficult for us to maneuver in this environment. I do like the hits on this Griffin. That's pretty solid. How much HP does that building have left? 25. Noted. This Hunchback is advancing forward. Okay. Next up is our Hoplite. The Hoplite is going to fire on this Nidhogg with the Thumper Artillery in flak mode.
Got it.
Okay, so we triggered the AMS again, and we got a little bit of damage dealt on that Nidhogg. For now, that's fine. I'm not too concerned about it hitting our allied units, of course.
Commander.
For now, I'd like to bring our Shadowhawk forward to about here. And I want to keep hitting this Griffin. Yeah, hit odds aren't the greatest, but let's see what we get done here. We might knock it off of this building. And indeed we do. Knocking it off of that building is actually a pretty big deal there. Unfortunately, it got its evasive. But that's fine. So this Avatar is firing on the Nidhogg. It did get some damage dealt there. It also took down that building. Okay.
Ready for orders.
Our Grasshopper, at this point, really does want to get up over here
Confirmed.
and continue to fire on this Griffin.
Bon appetit.
We do miss our AC-20, sadly. But we're going to continue to close in there as much as we can. Next up is going to be an allied unit, the Conga. It's going for that Thumper Artillery Hunchy. Okay, I like that. The Apollo is going to step out over here, and I want that Nidhogg eliminated. So we're going to fire on the Nidhogg with anything we've got, and chip down its armor a little bit, anyway. I'd really like to see this Nidhogg take considerable damage from the Comstar units here. As of yet, they haven't been interested in that. This was a terrible shot on the Griffin. I don't know why you'd do that. Okay, so who moves next? Probably someone not very relevant, to be honest. Like this Alicorn. Yeah, I really don't care about what this Alicorn does here. I don't think it can do anything particularly useful. It might be able to get LOS on us over here. But no, it's coming up over here instead. Okay. I didn't expect it to get LOS there.
That was really bad.
But I guess I should have.
Taking heavy hits, Commander.
Okay, so the crossbow needs to get somewhere semi-useful, right? LOS is a problem.
Let's see what
Absolutely.
this baby can
Let's
do.
fire on this Griffin. Structure exposure there, and critting the ERPPC.
Critical hit,
The
Commander.
Shadowhawk taking those hits from the Alicorn is rough, and the Grasshopper took some hits from it as well. But let's see what we can
Ready to
do.
rock.
The Rifleman can position out over here.
I got you.
We can continue to hit this Griffin, but
Accuracy.
it's not going to necessarily be the finest of hits in the world here. Yeah. We've had some really awkward things happening already. We can position our Black Knight about here.
Rolling.
And from here, we can attack the Hunchback or the Griffin. The Hunchback is the obvious choice.
Firing all weapons.
Okay. So we got some damage dealt to the Hunchy there. Next round. Unfortunately, because we had to backtrack with our Centaur, this is going to get very awkward for our Centaur. No doubt about that. Phase 24, is this going to be the Nidhogg? Nope. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is tanking the frame rate. It's the Griffin. Okay. Well, the Griffin will get to move here. We never got to get rid of its evasive. Oh, it jumps. I love it. Okay. The Griffin jumping there is a really bad call.
Armor bad.
It really shouldn't do that.
Talk to me.
Next up would be our Centaur, and the Centaur is going to move in over here. Unfortunately, we can't see both of these at the same time. What if we positioned here instead? Nope. It's going to have to go here, and I'm going to go for the Griffin, but I'm not necessarily happy about it. We're going to hit Side Arc on this Griffin, and it's going to do a lot of damage.
That was a critical hit.
That did not do anywhere near the amount of damage that I expected it to do to the Griffin. Okay. Well, the Hunchback is going to step forward and fire on this Nidhogg and get literally nothing done. Okay. This is why I don't really like urban environments all that much. LOSs are extraordinarily complicated in urban environments. This is why I tend to avoid them. The enemy Hunchback moves away and fires on our friend the Archer. We're okay with this. Next up, I would really like to see these guys focus in on this Nidhogg. They're probably going to go for this Hunchback, though. Yep, that is indeed what they're doing. They do get a structure exposure on the Hunchy, though. So they're definitely starting to chip into him. But I would really prefer that they go for the Nidhogg. This guy's moving up, and we'll see what he decides to do here. Shoots at our Black Knight, and gets a fair amount of stray shot in there, but that does end up spreading out the damage. Now, I'm definitely concerned about this Alicorn. There's no doubt about that. That Alicorn is deeply concerning to me. We'll see what ends up happening with it. It moves in phase 16. We're really not in a position to do anything about it, though. We're really, really not. We need to get in and eliminate this Griffin. That Nidhogg is moving over, and what are you going to do? It goes for our Apollo, and it doesn't get all that much done there, to be honest. I don't think that was a good call. Where did it actually move to? Here. Okay. 12 evasive is a lot of evasive. No doubt about that. This Hunchback is just kind of backing up a little bit and not doing anything of note. So for now, that's reasonably fine. Our Hoplite is going to continue to fire on this Nidhogg in flak mode. I want it gone.
Roger that.
That did almost no damage, but we did trigger its AMS. Okay. Next up is this Archer, and that just does nothing at all. Okay. Excellent. Good job, Comstar. That is absolutely phenomenal. So next up is going to be... who? That Trebuchet? Okay. It's just going to lob some missiles at us. Yeah. The Shadowhawk is taking a lot of damage, and we would love to move it, but we can't respond, unfortunately. The Alicorn is going to get to move before we get to move the Shadowhawk, so from the perspective of the Shadowhawk, the Alicorn gets to move twice in a row here, which is sad. But we can position here, and we can fire on this Nidhogg. Hit odds are not great because of the 12 evasive, but we do need to shoot this thing down.
10-4.
14 from 30 hit by AMS. We will eventually get through that AMS. Eventually. The question is when, and the question is how much more damage does this Alicorn end up doing? So the Thunderbolt moves up and does nothing at all. We'll see what the Alicorn does here. The Alicorn is my main concern at this moment. We've had no chance to respond to it as of yet. But we'll see what it decides to do here. Okay, it just goes and hides behind a building. For now, that's reasonably fine. This Shadowhawk is going to move forward up over here. This does give us a couple of rear arcs, which is intriguing.
10-4.
We could fire rear arc at this Thunderbolt. We could also fire rear arc at this Hunchback. I suspect we are better off to fire on this Griffin, though. And that's indeed exactly what we're going to do. Okay. You okay, RogueTech?
Enemy down.
Okay, he did die. That definitely took a hot minute to calculate. But there's one down. So that's good. Next up is going to be an allied unit here. This Conga is jumping and firing on this Hunchback, taking out the lower arm and the shoulder there. Okay. Next up is going to be a phase 14 ally. I'm not sure which one that is. Okay. He completely misses. Not a single hit there. And I believe that that unit got no hits last time as well. So that's not great, but we can definitely advance forward with our Black Knight here, and we can now choose to fire on this Hunchback, or on the Nidhogg. Obviously, we're going to choose the Hunchback here. Okay, so we took out the arm there. We also blew up this thing that was right by the Hunchback, so that's fine. That will likely do something to the Hunchback, I hope. This Avatar is moving up and is also going for the Hunchy there. That's solid. Takes out a bunch of Thumper ammo. Unfortunately, the Hunchback is still standing, but it won't last too much longer. Yeah, it's very close to down. Okay. So next up would be our rifleman. The rifleman is going to position out over here. We're going to continue to fire at the Nidhogg. That's the only target we can shoot at. But heat is high, so we're just going to fire the large lasers. Hit odds are low anyway, so we're not going to get too much out of that one. Okay, next up is going to be our crossbow. The crossbow can position here and can fire on the Nidhogg. Even with SAM missiles, this is only a 20% hit chance on the LRMs. Okay, we took down the building at least. I don't think that the Nidhogg ends up taking fall damage from that, but we do take down that building, so that's reasonably fine. Our grasshopper is going to sprint up over here, and I kind of want to just fire at the hunchback here. Okay, a little bit of internal damage there, hip destruction. Not all that much damage to the Hunchy. He does finally lose his evasive, but that is also the end of this round. Okay, so next round, Magus gets to move, and I think Magus can finally be useful. So we can get into rear arc of this hunchback, which is exactly what we're going to do. And we can fire here. Unfortunately, we failed our sensor roll. The one turn we can finally be useful, we failed our sensor roll. Okay, well, we're going to hit the Hunchy here. I don't expect too much out of it with the sensor roll failure. And yeah, we just get very little done there.
That was a critical hit, lad.
Very sad. Very, very sad. If we had not failed our sensor roll, that hunchback probably would have died. The Thumper Artillery Hunchback is moving up and attacking the Avatar here. It doesn't get very much done there. So for now, that's reasonably fine. What else are they going to do? Well, they can move their Nidhogg now. I'm hoping that they get rid of all that evasive at some point. It's very difficult to hit that Nidhogg right now. But we do want to. Very badly. So it positions right over here. Ooh, goes for the Shadowhawk. That's a structure exposure. The Shadowhawk was already softened up due to the Alicorn. Nothing too major to the Shadowhawk yet. And how much evasive does that Nidhogg have? 8? Okay, well that's definitely less. They fire on this Hunchback here, and I think it's dead. Yes. Fantastic. There's a lot of stuff going on here, but we have eliminated 25% of the enemy units at this point. So that's something, anyway. This Hunchback moves phase 19, or rather, phase 18, and our Shadowhawk doesn't move until phase 15. Okay, they're attacking this Archer. That's fine. I don't care about that. This Hunchback will move now. But this Archer moves first. Okay. Little bit of damage to that Hunchback. Let's see what he does. I'd love it if he stepped forward over here and, like, attacked our Grasshopper. That would be ideal. That Thunderbolt is going to move first, though. And it attacks our Black Knight. Okay. The Black Knight's armor is getting a little on the low side, but it should be able to withstand this for a while longer. And the Archer is now going to position there and just sensor lock. Although it is going to fire on this Alicorn, and it got a fair number of missile hits there. For the moment, I'll accept that. A sensor lock on the Nidhogg does reduce the Nidhogg down to 6 evasive. So that's not terrible, all things considered. Now this Hunchback is going to move. Odd positioning.
Yes, Commander.
Very odd positioning indeed. The crossbow, unfortunately, is going to have to sprint to get LOS on this Nidhogg. That's very not ideal. But we are able to fire on him here. I'm not going to fire the medium lasers due to heat.
Firm.
Okay. That Nidhogg has still got AMS ammo, so we'll continue to have to focusing him. But we have definitely moved through a lot of that. So that's looking good. This Hunchback is just kind of running around over here for now. What did it just hit our Centaur with? That was,
They punched through my defense.
I believe, an AC-20 at that range with 8 evasive? Rude. Very rude indeed. So this guy has no armor left, right? What does he have in him? This is not one with ammo, so we don't actually necessarily care about that. Okay. What else do you got, Comstar? I'd love it if you'd actually do something useful. Sure, firing at this Thunderbolt seems okay. Draining some AMS
Awaiting
ammo.
orders.
Our Shadowhawk is, of course, going to need to withdraw a bit. We're going to move it out over here for now and fire on this Nidhogg.
Firing.
Ah, finally out of ammo on the AMS on the Nidhogg. So that's looking good. Next up, our Black Knight is going to move up over here, and I'm going to engage the rear arc of this Hunchback. Low hit odds here, because we failed our sensor roll. Of course we did. Okay.
Got it, Commander.
Why wouldn't we fail our sensor roll there, right?
Critical hit, Commander.
Okay, so we got a little bit of damage into the rear arc of this Hunchback, but we're not doing anywhere near the levels of damage that I'd like to see here. We're just generally in an awkward situation here. That was a decent large laser into the Nidhogg's side arc, though. Yeah, we'll definitely take that. Okay, phase 14. I believe at this point the Alicorn is going to be moving. It just chose not to.
Aye, aye.
So our Hoplite, I kind of want to start dropping Thumper Artilleries in artillery mode on it.
I'm on it.
That was a terrible shot. That was
I'm
one of the
here.
worst shots I've ever seen. Okay, that's exciting. Well, we can definitely get into rear arc of this Nidhogg, but we can't get into a decent LOS that is side arc without sprinting. And this is still within minimum range, unfortunately. But we can definitely fire on this guy's side arc and get some damage in there. But very, very little, to be honest. Very, very little damage there. Our Grasshopper is going to move up over here,
Location confirmed.
and I want to fire on that Nidhogg.
Targeted for now.
Eventually, it will go down. Eventually. But not now. So at this point, our Rifleman can move up over here,
Order acknowledged.
continuing to pour fire into this side arc.
I'm on him.
That's a structure exposure, but we don't hit anything else into there. Okay. Things are definitely going awkwardly for us here. No doubt about that. And with that Alicorn existing, that's going to be a bit rough. Okay. So at this point, our Centaur really should come in and hit this Hunchback rear arc. It's only 4 evasive, which is not ideal.
To hell with the weapon.
And we do miss our melee attack. Of course we do. However, this Hunchback is dead. So that's absolutely fine for the moment. One very, very dead Hunchback.
Battle mech down.
So that's looking good. There's only one enemy left over here. It's this 4X, which its ballistic weapon is currently jammed. I don't believe it's out of ammo. Okay, that was a good internal shot on the Nidhogg there. Unfortunately, it didn't destroy it, but it did do additional internal damage. Only 6 HP left there. Oof. Oof indeed. Well, the Nidhogg gets to move now, and we'll see where it goes. Positioning right there. It's going to go for the Shadowhawk, isn't it? Oh, no, it goes for the Rifleman. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Armor holding.
It's actually not too much of a problem. So next up is going to be this Thunderbolt, which is still fresh. It just positions out over here. That's a good artillery target for us. Okay, this Archer, what's it going to do? Fires on the Nidhogg. I like this choice. I think the Nidhogg's dead. Yes. Okay. So with the Nidhogg gone, things are a lot better for us. That Alicorn is still a concern. No doubt about it. We're going to have to clean up this guy. That definitely still needs to happen. But I am completely okay with them continuing to lob missiles into that Alicorn. That sounds great. Next up is going to be this Conga moving, as well as these units out over here. For the moment, that's completely fine. I love them using their ammo on the Archer. What else are you gonna do, Comstar? It'll be this guy at this point. Jumps up on the building and fires on the alicorn. Okay, it gets some additional armor damage there in addition to getting some of those AMS ammos. So I like it. That's great. No problem whatsoever. This Hunchback moves now. Firing on the Conga. Okay, that seems okay for now. So that Hunchback will be a little bit exciting for us to chase down. Next up is going to be the alicorn, but it just chose not to move. I love it.
Yes, Commander.
It is past time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to wrap this up. We need to really start chipping down the armor over here. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.